Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where today I wanted to go over all the stuff that's recently been announced and shown off at San Diego Comic-Con so far. Obviously tomorrow is the main panel for Doctor Who, and I'm hoping to cover as much of that as is made available online. Obviously, it doesn't look like they're going to be doing a live stream, which is a bit of a shame. I know they did do that for, I believe it was the Flux panel, and I remember reacting to that live at the time. And I was hoping to do a similar thing with this panel, but it's looking like probably not going to be streamed, which is a bit of a shame. But we do have a few things that I wanted to go over here online. People at the event talking about the stuff that's there, and I wanted to go over that because there's some really, really cool stuff. But before we get into that, subscribe if you're new, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the recent support. I'm trying to get to 25,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and any support would be greatly appreciated in getting to that goal. But with that said, let's get right into it. They finally, officially, formally announced the 15th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver toy. And I've been waiting for this for a very, very long time. If you can tell behind me, I love collecting the action figures, and particularly the Sonic Screwdrivers. Ever since I was a kid, I've always had to get every single one, even if I didn't particularly like the design, because I have to be honest, as a design for a Sonic, I've never been hugely fond of 15s. It's a little bit too clunky for my liking. I like something a bit sleeker. But I have to say, everything I'm saying about the toy in particular is very impressive, and I've been quite critical of character options for the people who make the toys for Doctor Who, mainly the action figures and the Sonics and all that sort of stuff. But I have to say, I think they've really outdone themselves here. We're going to do a read of the features, and it's really impressive. We've also got video footage of it as well that's surfaced on TikTok. So the brand new accessory from Character Options will be unveiled to fans on the Doctor Who booth at San Diego Comic-Con from Thursday the 25th of July, ahead of a wider release in September 2024. So immediately, I do want to say, I think it is a bit disappointing that, like, non-Comic-Con attendants, especially those outside the US, are going to have to wait till September to get their hands on one of these. Luckily, I do have a friend who is American who is going to the convention, so I'm going to see if I can get him to ship one down so I can get a little bit earlier than that. But it would have been nice if the release was simultaneous, as I believe was pretty much the case with the 14th Doctor exclusive Chrome Sonic. In any case, Character Options is delighted to reveal its brand new 15th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver, which will be available at the Doctor Who stand at San Diego Comic-Con. Following Ncuti Gatwa's first season as the Doctor, taking over our screens earlier this year, it seemed entirely fitting that the 15th Doctor Sonic Screwdriver is to be given an exciting exclusive unveiling to fans on the Doctor Who booth at the San Diego show. And I've got to say, it's a really, really good replica already. You can tell just from the images here, they've really captured the design and all of its individual aspects well. I can't wait for the inevitable recolors of this Sonic to be resold in red and yellow, the other two versions, and possibly more in Season 2, no doubt, because I imagine as soon as characters saw that, they went, wow, we can just re-release the same Sonic multiple times and no one's going to question it because it's just in different colours. I will say this is probably one of the most toyetic Sonics they've ever done, for better or for worse. I always knew this could be a fun toy with all of its little features that it has, and it seems very much like that is the case. The limited edition version boasts an exclusive electroplated finish, making it look like real polished steel and brass. So this is a limited edition version, like with the Chrome one, that has a certain finish. I'm assuming that the standard retail release is going to look a bit more plasticky, as was the case with the 14 Sonic. I'm not sure whether that's the only difference between the sort of exclusive, fancier version and the standard version, but we'll have a read and see. It features two modes of operation, open and closed, as well as 5 brand new unique sound effects, with each accessed by a totally different button sequence. It's the perfect piece of memorabilia to start any 15th Doctor collection. As expected from Character Options, the Sonic comes in regeneration style packaging with a sturdy mailer box. Al Diwar, head of product development, commented, I've worked on a few Sonic screwdrivers over the years, but it is safe to say this is one of the most complex and different by a galactic parsec. The 15th Doctor's device is a major step up in terms of complexity and function for the Sonic screwdriver as a toy. On the deluxe version, there are many features, including a uniquely shaped swivel-out power core, complete with flickering power crystal and chamber on and off sounds. So, is that not going to be a feature on the standard release? Because if not, I do think that's a bit of a shame if some of the swivel-out features aren't going to be on the standard release. I'm thinking as like a kid, if I wanted the 15th Doctor Sonic and mine didn't do all the features, I think that would be a bit disappointing. But we'll see. There are also 3 distinctly different sounds with accompanying light VFX, a standard sonic sound, a data sound, and a liveform scan sound. The spring out and retract emitter section also has its own sound, and finally the slide out analyzer with its own sound, completing the sound FX. To be able to release this brand new deluxe version at the biggest genre expo in the world, just as we did the 14th Doctor Silk Screwdriver, is truly amazing, and our thanks go to Bad Wolf and the BBC, without whom this would never have been possible. San Diego Comic-Con will be the first place to see these as 1,000 pieces go on sale, but fans will also be able to purchase this special edition of the 15th Doctor's new sonic screwdriver device later in September 2024. So yeah, very interesting stuff. I mean, given it's apparently an exclusive, fancier version, I am going to be wondering what the price of this is for consumers. I know that I believe the online exclusive 14 Sonic, the Chrome one, was about 40. And I hope it's not much more than that, because at that point you start to get into collector territory, I feel like. But in any case, I will say I am incredibly impressed with it, and we do have some video footage of it coming from the TikTok account TRantsBok.
15th Dr. Sonic at San Diego.
So yeah, this is it in closed mode. You can also see the little top scanning section flicks out. It very much reminds me of the 11th Dr. Sonic Screwdriver toy, where that flicks open with the press of a button as well. And as you can see, that bit lights up. Every single light on this lights up, including even, he'll show it in a sec, I imagine, the back section as well. Showing the this side flicking out. And obviously you can't quite hear it over the music, but you can very slightly hear when he's got his finger on that sort of flip out section, a different scanning sound. And then you can see, yeah, as I said, the back all lights up as well. Different sound and light sequences. And yeah, it looks incredibly impressive. I have to give credit to character here. I think they've done a wonderful job doing all the features for this Sonic. I just hope that the simpler version isn't stripped down too much, because I think as a kid, I would love a Sonic with all these features. You know, like it just looks so fun to play around with. And I think it would be a bit disappointing if the normal version that most kids are going to get doesn't have any of these aspects to it. Obviously, I understand costs are an issue, but I just hope that the retail version isn't too stripped down from this, because this is a really genuinely good toy. Probably, in my opinion, one of the best character have done Sonic Screwdriver-wise in terms of toys. I think probably the only other competitor in terms of Sonic Screwdrivers and like this level of quality would be the 12th Dr. Sonic, which had all the colour variations and all of the rest of it. But yeah, I'm really impressed with this. One thing I will say though, do me a favour, don't go on eBay and pay these scalped prices. I mean, look at this. Like £140, £100, £130, £135. Don't pay it. Even if you're in America, just wait until maybe you can get it imported, or as I said, you can wait till September for the retail release if you are in the UK. But do not pay these prices, because this is ridiculous. And I kind of knew as soon as they announced that there were going to be a limited run of 1,000 at Comic-Con, this was going to happen, unfortunately. Already 16 people have bought the £99 one, which I just think is a little bit insane, especially considering this was listed, I believe, before the convention. So who knows if they actually managed to get 16 of them. Normally with these things, they limit how many a customer can buy, so I hope that's the case here. In other Comic-Con news though, that section went on longer than I anticipated. I had a lot to say. We've got this, which is a Tardis display at San Diego Comic-Con. This is really cool. It's like a photo opportunity. They've basically carved out half of the Tardis from the new series and basically made it a big photo booth area, which I have to say is really cool. And I think Docu-Production News makes a really good point here. This simplified TARDIS interior set constructed at San Diego Comic-Con is a good sign that Doctor Who is not a Disney Plus afterthought. I'm looking forward to what comes out of the panels and podcasts. And I think it's a really good point. They've made half of the TARDIS console and made a big display for it at San Diego Comic-Con. And as we know, it's going to be at Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con, which is where all the Marvel stuff happens. It definitely doesn't feel to me like Doctor Who is being treated as kind of a smaller thing that's not been successful. And this very much doesn't read to me as the actions of a company who's going to drop a show next year. in my opinion at least, this is a good sign. And I said as much on Twitter as well. But we also have some video footage via, ironically enough, Deadline, showing off the TARDIS itself, and there's a screen above it and all this sort of stuff. Really, really well done. Obviously, if you open the doors there, it looks like it shows off the planets being devastated in Empire of Death. It's just really nice seeing Doctor Who getting this sort of treatment. Seeing it up there with all the other big brands just makes me feel happy as a fan of this show. We also have this, which I just thought I'd point out, which is, I know this is quite common now, but I always get fascinated when I see them. They're like those little robot arms that take selfies for people when they're going through. I just think that's cool. But anyway, we also, in fact, have a few costumes on display. We have the 73 yards get-ups, along with 15's actual prop sonic screwdriver. Another shot of the TARDIS here looking really nice. A display of some of the merchandise as well as the Sonic, and one of the shirts as well. We also have shots of the Doctor Who X Star Trek sort of area being set up, which I think is just a really cool idea. We know that there's going to be a shared panel between Russell and I can't remember the guy who runs Star Trek, I'm sorry to say. I'm sure one of you will let me know in the comments. I'm not as big into Star Trek as I am Doctor Who, but I know some people are really into both. So this is a really cool thing, and it's just really cool seeing Doctor Who treated like this as someone who really enjoys it. It does make me miss the Doctor Who experience, though, I have to be honest. I do hope that TARDIS doesn't get completely, sort of disassembled and never used again. I'd love to see it make an appearance in the UK, maybe at one of the Worlds of Wonder events if that was possible, because I think that looks really, really nice. And finally, just to finish off, I wanted to show you all the merchandise available at San Diego Comic-Con today. Nothing too exciting. I think a lot of this has already been available in places like Forbidden Planet, of course with the exception of the new Sonic. But I do like that they've made keychains out of the new Sonic. We've got some new shirts here, socks, that kind of thing. But it's nice seeing Doctor Who getting this level of, I suppose, a presence at a Comic-Con this big. Obviously, I know Doctor Who has had a presence at Comic-Con in the past. I remember the Series 11 panel quite well. But this, to me, does feel like a different level. You know, having almost an entire TARDIS built, having the costumes on display, having multiple panels taking place across the convention for Doctor Who, including a major one, which interestingly is called Into the Whoniverse. Whether they are going to announce that spin-off there, and possibly Season 3, who knows? I will be covering whatever I can about that panel when it happens tomorrow. Apparently it's happening around 8:30 UK time, so expect a video from me around then. But yeah, overall, I just wanted to show off some of the stuff that's been made available at Comic-Con and some of the stuff on display. What are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know down in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.